Well, this will do for the Roberts, I think.
Oh,
That
that's
was
beautiful.
That is a great one.
This is something Sickles could do, absolutely do, just like I showed you. He could take the scissors and cut this exactly.
Oh.
I never did know how he did it. I never could. A lot of things he could do that I couldn't do. I took mechanical drawing in high school. Did you all?
Yes.
Yeah, I think everybody did.
I never quite learned it. I never got the hang of it. Again, being left-handed didn't help.
I used to enjoy doing lettering with using mechanical tools like an alphabet of Caslon, Ionic, or Doric letters.
I wasn't
This
even
is like
good at that. I wasn't patient enough.
Type designers work.
Yes, well, sure, that's the way they work, and God, they have to.
And
It's
with,
freelance stuff is for the birds.
Yeah.
But I never had the patience to do that. I guess once you're into, Norman Rockwell wrote about this once. He said, lettering is a skill and an art unto itself. And most freehand artists, like Norman Rockwell, are not good at it because they're too impatient. They want to go on and up to whatever. Even though they're drawing something in it, putting something in a drawing as carefully as that.
Yeah.
But I think it's the repeating of the figures that does them in.
That's it. You're doing the same letters over and over.
Yeah.
Unless you're a type designer and you can actually create a new typeface.
Oh, yes.
That's where the excitement
And I have it named
comes
for
in.
you, you're Mr. Caslon, and name the type for you, and so on. F.G. Cooper did a series of typefaces.
Yes,
He was
Cooper,
a-
Bold,
He was a
Cooper,
marvelous
Italic. Oh, yes.
He seemed to be the unlikely person. He was an unusual man anyway.
The
He was
Little Orphan Annie lettering is Cooper style lettering.
I think it is, if you pinned it down, although he probably would deny it, he being Harold Gray.
Yeah. How do you feel, looking at this Dragon Lady, how do you feel knowing now that the Dragon Lady has become a part of the English language?
Well, I think the original feeling I had about losing my children and having them executed in some distant place where I could do nothing about it, remember, that's a quote.
Yeah.
I think I finally got over that now. These children now, since they're not appearing anywhere, have sort of come back to roost. They're back home. I feel they're my children again, even though they're not commercial.
Nice. That is nice to know.
Dangerous thing, more. Stay away from women like that, Shel. You want to go into
I think that's worth $40. Don't you, Tom?
Sure did.
How did he, we were trying to figure out how did, oh, we can't use this, we better cut the tape, do a little playback. How did he figure that $40 was the amount?
He says here how he reached it. It's kind of touching.
Yeah, how did he?
He said the drawing is certainly, you might possibly be able to do a small color sketch of the Dragon Lady for us to frame and hang in our living room. I realize this is asking quite a lot, but you've got no idea how much an original color sketch would mean to us. Had the chalk drawing you did at the museum been put up at auction after your talk, I'm sure we would have done some spirited bidding. I have no idea what you might charge for a small color sketch, but I'm enclosing a check for $40, which is all we can afford at the moment. The drawing is certainly worth much more than that to us, and I hope you won't feel the check to be an insult. The Dragon Lady has always been my favorite of all the characters you've created over the years. I'm hoping you'll consider my request. I'm taking the liberty of sending a stamped envelope, so.
Oh, that's nice. Well, he's a good guy. I can see now why you responded
Yeah.
so nicely.
And like you say, it'll end up going to the Milt Gross Fund, so that's...
Yeah, no, he'll get it back, so he'll know what happened.
Right, he'll know what
The
it
canceled
was.
check. This is larger than he had planned, but
Tom, let's get a copy of this address so that maybe someday we'll send them a videotape of how their drawing was made.
We'll just hold it up in front of the camera and we'll have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that,
Well, I'll hold it up a little closer maybe, here I can zoom in, let's see.
yeah, let me just write it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
these characters get richer. I mean, they have more depth as time goes on, of course. And even though I haven't been drawing this thing, if I were to start drawing it tomorrow, I'd pick up just where I left off. It wouldn't be hard at all. By the way, Tom, I don't know whether you know this or not, that when George resigned, and it should be emphasized that Wunder was not fired or they didn't drop the strip, he resigned because he was tired. He couldn't get adequate assistance because the income from the strip was dropping, so that he couldn't pay an assistant.
It was dropping, I take it, because it was losing some papers.
Yeah, well, he was losing so many papers that the income had dropped into
Well,
a difficult area.
right. To be honest with you, myself, I lost most of my interest after the first year or two after George took over.
Well, I suppose a lot of people did, obviously, but it went down slowly. He did it for 26 years, you forget.
Right. Well, the first
Longer
year
than
or
I
so
did.
he tried to pretty well copy you, and then he went on his own.
People forget that I was only on that 12 and a half years, and he was on it 26
That's
years.
the point, too, you know?
Yeah.
But still, it's all, everybody thinks, naturally, thinks of you as because of the creator.
Yes, it was an interesting.
But
situation.
nobody thinks of how long Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was on Sherlock Holmes.
I have no idea now.
It doesn't matter.
No,
He created a classic, really.
Right.
And that's what's happening. It's going to be reprinted in beautiful form. Someday somebody is going to come along with the definitive Terry, which will be the whole thing,
Yes, it's come
first to
close.
last, in full
Even
color and black, where there was color, and black and white where it was black and white. I know that's going to happen.
even now you get it to.
Yes, go on.
Because it's an American treasure. It's like Gershwin's Porgy and Bess was a flop when it was first released. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, it was a failure. And then through revivals and one thing or another, then it just grew and grew until it created its own legend.
You know,
by
something that's
repetition.
strange in that respect is that you remember Conan Doyle and remember everything that he ever wrote and all the Sherlock Holmes people, and you remember Fu Manchu, but you can't even remember who wrote the damn thing.
Fu Manchu.
Sax Romer. I knew it was something, Omer or something, I kept
But see how long it took you to remember?
Yeah.
He didn't have the charisma that
Oh, no.
old Conan Doyle. You didn't probably hear this story. Shel has. I was on a radio program here with the guy who played Dagwood, by the way. The guy who played Dagwood, what's his name?
Arthur Lake.
Arthur Lake. And after we'd had a run through, I went over and sat down next to this lady who was sitting alone. And she said something about the broadcast. She was a guest of the Harold Lakes. And so we just chatted for a little bit, and then I got a call to come back up to the camera, and I said, it's nice to talk with you. My name is Milt Caniff. And she said, I am Mrs. Arthur Conan Doyle. Boom, like that. And here I was leaving. If I hadn't known who she was, I would have been talking up a
You
storm.
were on your way out.
Yeah, and I was on the way out of the damn place, and I never saw her again. Isn't that, it's like something in the London fog coming up to you. Boing like that. Well, we better get baby out of the way here.
To reckon with. He killed off his character.
Yes, he
And
tried to.
had to bring it back through public demand.
I think he actually thought he was bored with it until after he had killed it off. And then he wasn't so bored real quick. That happens to a lot of things of that sort. You want to go into this thing?
Yes. If you feel up to it.
Sure.
We're still taping. Tom, why don't you do a playback at this time to see.